I'm Nate Green at Wright. Thank you for your interest in our Evolution HCM platform. Let's take a look at our advanced HR solution. Managing your workforce is easy in advanced HR. With applicant tracking, you can define workflows and track candidates as they move through the recruitment process. Our solution offers task lists for new hires that can be monitored with the administrative onboarding dashboard. Employee and manager self-service provides access to announcements, pay stubs, tax documents, HR documents, and links to other related websites. It is easy to create and maintain benefit plan setups, as well as employee open enrollment selections. With performance tracking, create and define unlimited performance reviews by employee, and track the performance review scheduled dates and the completion status. Email notifications, reminders, and alerts keep administrators, managers, and employees updated on activities in the system and items pending approval. As we sign into the system, we arrive on the company's dashboard page. To the left, we will see company announcements. And to our right, we will see different event reminders. By clicking the HR Admin tab at the top of our screen, now we're going to go to our company dashboard. As the company dashboard is populated, we're going to focus on specific areas today for our demo presentation, starting with our applicant tracking. How do we create the job application? As it's created, how do we post that job application? And finally, we will review the applicant tracking dashboard so we can identify which employees have the specific skill set that we need to bring into the system. Next, we're going to move into onboarding. How do we create that task list? How do we get into the system and mark those employees ready for onboarding? Next, we will move on to our benefits because now that we've recruited the employee, we've onboarded them into the system successfully. Now we're going to walk through setting up a benefit plan, setting up the open enrollment, and monitoring that open enrollment as employees are going through. Finally, we're going to touch base in the system with the employee maintenance. This is the employee file. How do we add documents at the employee level? How do we add documents at the company level? This is maintaining all of our HR compliance items. Let's get started with that applicant tracking. As I go into the system, the first thing that I need to make sure of is I have the application and I can see the version. Going into the application version, I can create a new, or I can go into a pre-existing application. I can enter the title of this application as well as input a description. The system is going to use a yes/no logic to determine what populates on the application. Do we want to see the employment history? Yes or no? Would we like to see certifications? Yes or no? We also can identify keywords or a skills list that we want employees to be able to input the information that they have. I also have the ability to create and link custom questions to this application. For instance, are you willing to travel for this position? Yes or no? All of the questions in our system are done on 4 types. They are yes, no, date-driven, free-form text, or multiple choice. We've successfully created our application. Let's continue on to the job posting. I can create a new job posting at any time. The system can have an unlimited amount of job postings. I will go into that HR generalist position that we created on the application version. On our screen, we're going to be able to tell is this position open, yes or no. We also can link this to a specific position that's going to tie into the workers' comp code. I can route this to specific divisions, and then also I have my information off of my requisition. So this is the detailed responsibilities of this job. My application version is going to be listed. And then the most important thing I'm going to see on this page is my job posting link. This is actually going to give me the ability to take this link. I can copy and paste this on any of my job boards. I also have the availability to embed this in my company website. I can also tie this position to specific recruiters. So maybe you have internal recruiters who will handle the workflow once applicants apply. Moving forward, let's take a look at that applicant tracking dashboard. I've posted my position online. I've created the application. Now I can see different things on my dashboard, such as the person who's applying for the position, what job they're applying for. I can see the status of where they're at in the company workflow, and now I can also see those key words that the person filled in on their application. With the click of a button, I'm ready to move this candidate through the workflow. The workflow can have an unlimited amount of steps. This is how we will route the application through your organization. In the event that I am ready to onboard this employee, I change their status to onboard ready. What this is going to do is fire off a notification to the candidate letting them know that the task list that we assigned is ready to be completed. Electronic onboarding in our system begins with the task list. This is our first step to successfully having an employee complete all of their new hire paperwork. Going into our task list, the system is going to give me the ability to create a new task, or I can do different things on this screen. Notice in this demo database I'm showing you, I have a task list assigned to an administrative assistant, so I did that per position. I also created lists based on the office location. Maybe you have different locations that need to do different information. This is where we can create and define which group of employees are going to fill out which paperwork. Let's go into that administrative assistant task list. As this is populated, I'm going to have my title and my description. I also can put custom document information or list that I want the employee to see. I also have that yes/no logic again in the system. Do I want them to see a welcome note? Do I want them to complete their W-4, their background authorization? Do I want them to bring custom documents into the system? I chose yes for all of this. I can include any document from my company level. In the event I want them to sign off on the internet and email policy, I can add that. In the event I would like them to sign off on their employee handbook, we can add that to this list as well. As we go through this and add our information, just like with applicant tracking, if we have custom questions we would like the employee to answer, we can attach those to their list. For instance, maybe they get a t-shirt on the first day and you need to know what size shirt to give them. We can populate that question on the task list. If everything looks great, I can close this information. I can go back to my dashboard. And now I'm going to go to that onboarding dashboard because I've assigned the task list to different employees. So my dashboard is going to let me see exactly where those employees are out. So Walter Green is step 1. That paperwork is prepped. The task list is waiting on him to be completed. He is yet to start that information. The 2 is going to be the onboarding has started, but they're not halfway done with the paperwork we assigned them to fill out. A 3 is going to let us know they're halfway done. And now when I get to my 4, this is going to let me know that this employee has completed all of their assigned paperwork. I can bring this documentation up, view the documentation, and if everything looks great, I can sign off on this information, and this is going to create our employee file. This is going to create the I-9, the W-4, the direct deposit information that will flow into our payroll. If the information is invalid or the employee has not completed the information to my specification, I can reset their status and send a notification to this employee letting them know what I need them to do. As we move through the progression of the employee lifecycle, I've recruited my employee, I've onboarded my employee, so now it's time to offer benefits. As we start with benefits and advanced HR, our first step is to create the plan and make sure we have that information in the system. As this plan is populated, I can go in and add a new plan. I'll go into a pre-existing plan. By going into my medical plan, now I'm going to be able to enter my plan information. I can add my plan code. I also can tie out my plan deduction. If this is going to be used for ACA tracking, this is where the system knows what coverage your organization offered. I can choose my carrier, and I also can go in and put the policy number, the website address, when this plan started, when the plan's end date, and I also can track to see if this is COBRA eligible. If this is COBRA eligible, upon an employee enrolling in benefits, and if that employee terms later down the road, we know we need to get that COBRA election paperwork. The system is set up so we have notifications that can fire off to internal or external administrators, letting them know the paperwork is required. I also can go into the system and attach waiting rules or restriction rules. So maybe your employees are not eligible for benefits for 120 days. This is where we set that rule in the system. We attach it to the plan. And now to streamline and make sure all of your processes are electronic, we tie the payroll deduction from this benefit to the plan. As the employee enrolls in this benefit, this information, upon administrator approval, is going to trickle down to the employee level. We can attach that plan document, and we also can come into the system and define the rates for the employee as well as the employer portion. It's not based on freeform as well. In the event that you have those benefits that are age banded, we can also get into the system and define the low range, the high range, and that rate. So that way the system knows what to compute for employees as we're setting this plan and they're going online to enroll. I have my medical plan in the system. Let's build an open enrollment together so employees can go in and elect their benefits. I have my open enrollment based on my status, so I can create a new one, but I'll go into my open enrollment for 2019. The information is going to populate the name of this. Each year you can change this year over year. Our start date and our end date. Our start date is going to be when your employees can go online and enroll in this selection. Our end date is when this is no longer going to be available online. Our introduction is what the employee is going to see as they sign online. And again, with these benefit plans, we have our yes-no logic. Do we want employees to be able to enroll in this plan? Yes or no? Now that my plan is in the system, I've created an online enrollment for my employees to go enroll. As an administrator, I need the ability to see where my employees are at during the open enrollment process. By clicking on my Monitor Open Enrollment, my screen is going to populate. I'm going to choose my 2019 because that's the year we're in. So seeing this information, I can see the name of the employee, the ID, the type of plan. I can see which coverage type they're choosing and what is their status during this open enrollment phase. For instance, Mickey Disney here has not started his benefits, so maybe I need to send a notification saying, hey, we have a week left in open enrollment. You need to make sure you get started on electing your benefits. We've recruited our employee. We've onboarded the employee successfully. We've offered our employee benefits, and now we need to maintain the employee's file. The employee maintenance is all of the items on the employee's file. It's electronic. Documents in our system are stored on two levels, on the company level as well as the employee level. So if I want to view my company documents, this is going to populate all of the documents that I, as an administrator, have uploaded. I can look at any of these documents. In the event I want to see the employee documents, going to the employee, this is going to show me all of the documents for every employee I have in my system. Now, that's going to take a while. In the event I would like to drill down on specific information, I can input the employee's name, and what this is going to do is show me the specific documents for this employee. So maybe I want to see the background check that they signed off on during their onboarding process. By navigating to my background check, it's going to bring up that document. It's going to show me the e-signature with the date and time that this employee signed that information. Tracking performance is a vital part of any organization. So just as I need the documentation per employee, I also need to know about the review information. So by going to the review, I can assign specific reviews to employees. I can go in to create a new review. As this is populated on the screen, I can choose my company and my employee and my review type. Now notice in this demo database, I have several different types. Maybe this is a disciplinary item and you want the employee to acknowledge it. You want to put specific notes in the system. Maybe it's a 90-day review. They're in training and you want to see how it goes. We can configure different review types in the system. By selecting my review, I will come into an annual review for this employee. I can choose my status that, yeah, we're going to go ahead and schedule this review. And now it's going to ask me for my schedule date and my complete date. What this is doing in the system is basically creating a notification for me as an administrator to let me know on my dashboard or through an email notification that this employee has a review that is due. I can also assign secondary persons to review this employee review. I can put my notes. I can also have specific templates, and I also can attach any document that I feel is associated with this review. In addition to my review, I can also assign specific classes or training to employees. I can do this on all, or I can do this on a one-by-one basis. I just simply choose what I would like to do. So as I go into my class, I am drilled into Melissa McCarthy as my employee. So if I would like to go in and create a new class, I simply just make sure the employee is selected who I would like, choose the class I want this employee to complete. So we're going to say they're going to do this safety class. And now I can make sure I put my date in here when I expect this employee to complete. I can send an email notification to that employee, letting them know that this training has been assigned to them. I also can add hyperlinks to videos, such as if this is a YouTube video that they are to watch and then answer questions. I can attach any document that I would like associated to that training to make sure the information is saved and available for my employees. The day-to-day hustle and bustle demands that administrators in HR or payroll roles be highly organized. How do we keep that communication flowing throughout your organization? We do that with our notifications. So the notifications in our system are based on standard events or custom events. The way that these work is as an event happens in your system, we set these up to say this is the recipient who's going to receive this notification. This is when I want you to deliver the notification to that recipient, and this is the description of what that notification is going to be. For instance, with applicant tracking, if someone has started an application, by going into this, I am going to be able to see on the screen that this is active. I also can include a target recipient that I want to receive this. Notice how I can choose a user or an internal employee. I also can link it to recruiters. And now my description, this is going to show me at the top of the screen what that notification is going to say. Now this is a pretty standard notification. In the event that we need to create custom events in the system, we can. We can choose different categories based on how those notifications are configured and how they fire off in the system, such as you would like a notification if an employee changes their direct deposit. This is where we keep our administrators organized and give them the most up-to-date information as employees are changing things or accessing the system. In like manner, reporting is a vital part of any organization. We need to make sure we get the information out that we're putting into the system. Reporting with Advanced HR starts with two different features. We have our standard reports, which is going to show a list of predefined reports that bring in information based on the tables in the system. So if I wanted to run a compensation history report for my employees, I simply execute the report. I can choose active, inactive, or my effective date. And for this case, I'm going to say, let's bring in this report. Now, as you see this report and we look at the information on the screen, a lot of times prospects will see this information as a PDF. That's not the case. This information can be saved in whatever format you would like. In the event that you made the wrong selection, we can actually get into the system and say, I actually want to bring in my inactive information. I can highlight that and it's instantly going to reconfigure that report to my specification. And also note that your company's logo will be present on all of your reports. It can be configured in the system. But we realize standard reports don't work for every organization, so we developed a quick report writer tool. This tool will work off a concept in the system. In the event, let's just say we want to see benefit detail information. I can select this report, this concept in the system. It's going to bring in all the information on that table. But if I want to add information to the report, such as the first name, the last name, the deduction frequency, I can add this information in the report. As I work my way forward, it's going to say, do you want to include active employees? Do you want to filter and sort this based on specific criteria? I can save this report, and now I will no longer need to configure the report. But before I do that, if I want to output to screen, this is going to show me that report I built. It's going to populate on screen. So now, if I need to go in and make changes, I can do so without reconfiguring and saving the report. I can do it at one time. Now let's take a look from the employee's perspective. I've signed in to the employee self-service to give you a view of exactly what your employees would see. The first thing your employee is going to see on this page is the company announcements and the dashboard, the same as an administrator. The difference being the employee is only going to see the information that pertains to them. They can go to their HR tab, which is going to give them the availability to see all of their detailed information. They can view their compensation. They can see their personal documents. They also can download and view company documents. They can see their skills. They can view their I-9 and certificates. They also can view those pay stubs. So in the event that they're at a dealership buying a car or buying a home, they can actually come into the system, click on the pay stub link, and download all of their pay stubs. They can also change and submit their W-4 information if needed. That will send a notification to the administrator for approval, but the employee can start the process. And now let's take a look at that open enrollment from the employee's perspective. As this is populated, it's going to be an intuitive workflow from start to finish that's going to let me see exactly where I am in my open enrollment. First, it's going to show me my note. Next, it's going to ask me to build my information, verify the information. And then also, in the event that I need to add a dependent for my coverage, I can do so here. The system is going to give me the availability to enroll in the benefit. I have the ability to enroll and move forward, or I can decline coverage and continue to move forward. The system is smart enough to know that an employee, if they decline coverage, needs to choose the reason they are declining coverage. It is going to track this information for ACA. The employee will continue through this workflow until the end when they get to My Review. As they get to My Review, the system is going to ask them to put in their user ID and password and verify that this information is correct. Keep in mind, the system will use eSignature to track this information. This concludes our demo presentation